it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today's project is this. It's a very simple little card for Christmas, and it uses, you've probably already guessed, but just in case, Painted Harvest stamp set. So it's actually the flower at the bottom, and it's really quick, really simple, and I think if you're mass producing cards, it's a great way to go. So let us start. As ever, dimensions and product lists and what have you will be on my website, which is linked below. So let's get started. I'm just using very simple Real Red and Whisper White. This is the ordinary Whisper White, and the card base is in thick Whisper White. So all I need to do is find my block. Oh, buried. Find my D block and mount up the bigger of the two images first, and I'm using slightly different colours. I'm using Lemon Lime Twist and Old Olive, just so that it's a kind of fresher look. Sometimes I think we get a bit deep and dingy for Christmas, so I thought I'd just bring in a bit of a twist, if you'll pardon the pun, with Lemon Lime Twist. Now, as we all know, there's been so much stuff. I say we all know. Those of you who have been following stuff about the Painted Harvest, there's been quite a lot of it doesn't stamp properly debate, and it's not meant to. So I would recommend that if you don't have a padded surface like mine, that you use the Stampin' Pierce mat for this, but that's what it's kind of meant to look like. So I'm not worried about that. Would have helped if I had put some spray on my stamping scrub, but that's easily resolved. So that's that one. I don't need the Lemon Lime Twist anymore. So pop that back in my box. Pop that down. Oops, my little dots are running away. I need to clean my stamps because they're not quite as tacky as they used to be. And now Old Olive with the smaller, more detailed stamp. Now, there's been a lot of debate about how you line it up as well, and you know, it doesn't matter that much. I tend to line up this little lump here, which is this little lump here, but it actually doesn't matter that much. It's so long as you're there or thereabouts, it's not too much of an issue. Close that up whilst the ink is transferring. Just give it a push, and there we are. That will fade, as ever with inks. Once they dry, they do fade down a bit. So if you look at the original, it's a little softer. That's because they're still a little, this one's still a little bit damp. But the next thing I actually want to show you is, you may have noticed that these are red rhinestones. And no, I haven't gone rogue and started using another manufacturer's rhinestones. These are our rhinestones. They're just the basic rhinestones. And I've just coloured them with the stamping blends. This is the Dark Cherry Cobbler, and it actually makes, on the rhinestones, because there's the whole reflective thing, it makes quite a nice real red. So I think that's not a bad real red if I put it there. We'll see. I think it's nearer real red than Cherry Cobbler on the rhinestones, but that's because there's the reflection through the rhinestone. So that's how I got red rhinestones. And then I'm also using the Real Red solid ribbon, the half inch wide, which is in the Autumn Winter catalogue. And I'm just going to do my little bow again. Anyone who has watched me for any length of time will have seen this is how I do my bows when they're just on their own. Oops, I think I might have needed slightly longer ends, but what I call double bunnies. So it's little bunny ears, and let's start again, shall we? In fact, I want it that way around. So 2 loops, and just tie those loops in a half knot. and then you get a bow that you can adjust. So I can just pull the ends to make those loops the length that I want, in the same way as you can with most bows. But it's just a really easy way of getting a nice little bow. And then if I can find my scissors, there they are, I'll just trim my end, and there we have one nice little bow. I think that's probably the way up I'll have it, for no other reason than I just prefer the way the knot looks that way round. So all I'm going to do is grab my glue dots and a piercing tool, but you could use the tip of your scissors, and then I'm just folding a glue dot in half, and then I will pop that down there, pop my ribbon over the top, press and pull, and that's nicely stuck there. And then pick up my nice real red rhinestones and just pop those on my card. I'm just going to use 3 because, again, those of you who've watched me for any length of time, you know I like odd numbers. So I'm just using 1, 2, 3, and there we go. So that's those. So now all I've got to do is put it all together. So if you haven't already looked at the stamping blends, I highly encourage you to do so. Again, you'll have been seeing me doing this recently, is actually putting fast fuse on the mat rather than on the on the bigger mat, is what I'm trying to say, rather than on the smaller mat. It's an easier way of lining things up. So yes, if you haven't looked at the stamping blends, do. There's a copy of the brochure for the stamping blends on my website. I will now actually use my favourite adhesive, which is Tombow, to stick it down. Tombow sometimes shows through the Whisper White. I have never had a problem with it, but hey, I had fast fuse on my desk, which was why I used it. I could have used Tombow. But yes, so there's a stamping blends brochure on my website. If you look at the catalogues tab on my website, the link to that is below here, and the list of products is on my website, and the dimensions are also on my website. Hopefully my brain is on my website as well. But yes, go and have a look at the Stamping Blends brochure. There are 12 pairs of colours. I actually think there are more than 12 colours in the set. Let me bring in my, here's one I prepared earlier, and I'm trying to get this into a more sort of sensible format. But the left hand side are cardstock colours, and then these are the ink colours, the blend colours. Probably easier if I show it that way. And I've just written down the colour that I think it's kind of near, or what this colour is, just so that it looks, you know, you've got a better idea of which colours are which. So for example, that is Emerald Envy, and that is the dark Bermuda Bay, and I think that is a nearer match than Bermuda Bay, because this is Bermuda Bay, which I think is very good against the light Bermuda Bay. So that's just my take on it, but they are wonderful to use. I like alcohol markers anyway, but it means you can colour your gems, you can do, I was going to say watercolouring, but you know what I mean. Just remember to use Memento ink, is all I would say. Anyway, that's another topic. So this is today's project. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, please do hit subscribe, bottom right hand corner. If you want to see when I post on my website, if you go to the desktop version of that, at the top right hand corner underneath my banner, you'll see there's a subscribe by email box, and you just pop your email address in there, and then automatically when I put a new post up, you'll get an email to tell you that it's there, which is a great way of just getting a little visual reminder, and then you can either go and have a look or not. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will see you again very soon.